live online music. Tonight will be an hour of live music with Wild Harbors, which is a group consisting of a husband and wife singer-songwriter duo, Chris and Jenna Badeker. I'm Dorothy Stoltz, Director for Community Engagement with Carroll County Public Library here in Maryland. This program is sponsored by Carroll County Public Library with support from a community arts development grant from the Carroll County Arts Council and the Maryland State Arts Council. This event is a part of a media and streaming partnership with the Community Media Center. So we encourage you to type in questions and comments in our Q&A, and we'd like to have an interaction between Chris and Jenna and you, our audience. I'd like to remind everybody that we are live streaming to the library's Facebook page, as well as the Carroll's Community Media Center. After the program, the recording will be posted to the library's YouTube page. We're really excited to have Jenna and Chris, and we're delighted that you are here with us this evening. As I mentioned, the library received a Carroll Arts grant to bring forth not only the beauty of the human voice as a musical instrument, but also to explore the beauty of the inner voice within each of us. So it's that voice to help us learn how not to impose limits on ourselves or others, but to contact higher intelligence, whatever that is, to tap inspiration and creativity to bring out our best. Formerly of Carroll County, Chris and Jenna write songs focused on truth, beauty, narrative, and inspiration. So without further ado, Wild Harbors.
Cool. Did you get a seat?
All right.
Well, good evening, good people of the internet. I would normally say it's so nice to see your faces, but I can't see any of your faces. So it's a bit of a different thing for us than what we're kind of used to. If you tuned in before the shindig started and you're looking at all the wonderful publicity photos of us, you're probably wondering who we are. I haven't been to a barber in the last 4 months, so looking a little different at this point.
No, you can shake your head
I
and
know.
shake your hair
Got
around.
like this like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo vibe
boy.
going on at this point. But one day a barbershop will reopen and I will go and get a haircut again.
Yes, indeed you shall. Oh my goodness. Well, we are, I'm Jenna and Chris. We are Wild Harbors, and we're going to start off here by sharing a couple of songs with you. So the song is called Monument.
Said goodbye to house and home. Set off for the great unknown. Didn't we hear that voice that sent our spirits free, trembling before the choice, but couldn't shake the fear? This is the moment. We know who we are. We know why we're here before all we have a feathers caught in red. We'll raise a monument. Ooh, 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 ooh. Mountain tops and call our name, looming closer day by day. distance. This is the moment. It's clear we know who we are. We know why we're here before all we have. The feathers caught in the wind. We'll raise a monument. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, 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 One day we say we've come alive, the next we think we've lost our minds. Are we crazy? Are we doing well? It's getting harder and harder and harder to tell. It's getting harder and harder and harder to tell. It's getting harder and harder and harder to tell. Write it all down in stone. I know this won't last long, 'cause this is the moment. Everything's clear, we know who we are. We know why we're here. Oh, this is the moment. Everything's clear, we know who we are. We know why we're here before all we have. The feathers caught in the wind. We'll raise a monument. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, 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 oh.
Thanks for watching with us, everybody. The song is called Alone Together.
1, 2, 3. I've heard everybody talking. I've heard that the worst is yet to come. They say we won't even notice. They say it's a matter of time. They say we're two birds singing in a cage in a coal mine. But I don't wanna be alone together. I don't wanna be close like stars. Side by side, my love is still a million miles apart. I'm scared that you're gonna leave. I'm scared that you're gonna stay. You'll be alone in your memories. I'll be alone in my mind. We'll be those two birds singing in a cage in a coal mine. I don't wanna be alone together. I don't wanna be close like stars. Side by side, my love, but still a million miles apart. I don't wanna spend a life pretending, tied together and tired of the never-ending story of us ever falling out of love. I I don't wanna be alone together. I don't wanna be alone together. I don't wanna be alone. I don't wanna be alone together. I don't wanna be close like stars, side by side, my love, but still a million miles apart. I don't wanna spend a life pretending, tied together in tired of a never-ending story of us ever falling down, oh, ever falling down, oh, ever falling out of love. Cool.
Awesome. It's so we've done like one or two other online things in this season, and one of the strangest things about playing an online show is that when you're in a room with people make noise when you're done. Not assuming that they clap, but like there's at least people in the room.
Something happens.
Instead of just silence. So it's funny from our end of like, all right, there's that song.
Right.
But we're so glad that you all are here and hanging out. Whether you're on Facebook or whether you're on Zoom, welcome. We're glad that you're here.
Yeah, if you were tuned in from the beginning or not, if you're just joining us, we'll recap really quick. We're Wild Harbors, originally from Maryland. We're now living just outside of Nashville for our quarantine vacation, whatever you call it. Our plans were to be out, of course, playing music right now, but with the way things are, nobody's out doing anything. And so lots of musicians like us are at home writing music, practicing, doing the stuff we normally do.
Yeah.
But so we're really grateful for a chance like this to connect with you guys over the internet, wherever you are, whatever state you're in. And that you'd welcome us into your home or wherever you're at tonight. We're going to be playing some songs. And then also there's going to be a Q&A segment or a portion. I don't know if it's a segment, but component.
Aspect.
Yeah. So if you want and you have questions for us about anything really about a song, or if you just want to know what it's like to be a singer who is at home not singing.
We're going to share a little bit about our journey too. And so there might be things that come up in there, and we would love to like have your questions, and certainly not that we know everything, but we love to talk to people about some of the things that have been a part of our story and a part of our journey over the past few years here. So like I loved the approach to the program. So instead of just it being a typical concert where we just do all the talking, that it has this interactive thing. And we're really just huge thank you to Carroll County Public Library for having the foresight and innovation to say, hey, we don't have to cancel it. We can do it online. So that has just been great. And we're really excited that this can still happen, even though we're not in the library with all of you. So, a little bit about our backstory. We, Chris and I met in college, and we were friends. We played music together. We eventually dated and got married. And we had played music together for years, just a hobby at first. I mean, I studied music in college. I was a music and theater major, and knew that music was kind of the thing that I always loved to do. I loved to sing. I had been doing so from since I could talk, I guess. Like I remember being a little kid, like 4 years old, and hanging out with my mom at work and playing with my little Fisher Price little people, those little guys, and making up musicals with them and just singing songs. And that is just kind of what I naturally did. And I loved to do it. And I, as I got older, I discovered different artists and just fell in love with the idea of songwriting. And I would dabble at writing songs. And if we still have a notebook of mine from when I was in middle school, and they are hysterical. They are so awful.
Awfully awesome.
And they should be. That is the epitome of what it should be. It is certainly not a thing of shame, although it is a little embarrassing to read them out loud, I won't lie. But I just, moving through life, like knew that music was this thing that I loved, but I don't know that I ever really thought about making a career out of it. I just wanted to keep doing it forever.
Yeah.
There are people that you meet that kind of know from an early age, like, this is what I want to do. And I envy that.
Yeah.
But I don't think that that's how all of our stories work, you know? And I don't think that just because we didn't have that one singular dream from when we were younger, it doesn't mean that we can't interact with some of these passions that we have in our life in different seasons of our life. Yeah, and Chris, like, do you want to share about your kind of musical background?
It's funny. I never had delusions of being a professional singer, songwriter, musician because I didn't play any instrument as a kid. I didn't really pick up anything until college. I think maybe my junior or sophomore year there, I started learning, just fiddling around on piano. And so that was the first I'd ever had an outlet creatively in that way. I was always like an art kid, like I draw pictures and I paint and stuff. And like, maybe it was just a boldness thing. I never would have said like, yeah, I want to do this, but I'd secretly be in my room, like singing along to like every record and thinking like, well, that'd be the coolest job in the world. I just don't know how to do any of that stuff. So it's really not in the cards for me. So it's been really cool to get into music and just sort of discover how accessible the stuff that I thought was inaccessible is, with a little bit of practice and a little bit, you know. So learning how small that bridge really is has been very encouraging and very cool. So not that I know everything, but you know, it's been neat to feel empowered to step into that world and be like, no, I can figure this out. I can do this.
Yeah.
You know. And
I think, you know, like just that idea of like you step in and you figure out, oh, I can do this. I don't think that feeling is a constant one.
No.
Of like we talk.
No, it's constant. No, it's constantly replaced with the feeling, oh, I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, I actually have no idea. And I think something that has been so comforting to me as we've kind of stepped into this more and more, like little by little. So we didn't just, okay, well, I'll finish my thought. I go all over the place sometimes. But something comforting to me is most of the other artists we meet, even ones who've been doing this for years longer than we have, still say, I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. Like everybody's just kind of making it up as they go along. And it's interesting, the season that we're in right now, this pandemic, and so many of us being like quarantined and sheltering in place and things, like, I think this is, you know, Chris and I often feel like we have no idea what we're doing and we're just making it up. And this has kind of been a time where most people have no idea what they're doing right now. And we're all making it up together. Nobody has ever weathered a pandemic before in American culture that is alive right now that I know of. I could be messing that up. I think I am messing that up, actually. I think, like, I saw an interview the other day where someone said I was born like during a pandemic, and now I'm anyway. So yes, this did happen before. Retract that from the record. Forget I ever said that. But in this like day and age, this is new territory for
a lot of people.
And so just know that I don't know. I hope that almost it's a source of comfort in some ways, like both with this pandemic and in other areas of life, that don't let the feeling that you don't know what you're doing keep you from doing anything at all. Because for a long time I did. I shied away from music more so because I didn't feel like I knew what I was doing. So I was a teacher for 11 years, man. And I taught in Carroll County. I taught at a couple different schools in Carroll County. And Chris was a children's librarian
with the Carroll County Public Library.
Yeah. So some of you might be here and recognize him from the Eldersburg branch or different things. And there were things about those jobs that we loved. We love kids. We love working with people. We love being creative. And there were so many different things that we could do in those jobs that used that. They also, at least especially teaching for me, takes a ton of mental energy. So there weren't many days that I would come home and say, well, I just used every brain cell that I have. Now I'm going to sit down at 10 p.m. and write a song. Let me work on that. And it would happen sometimes, like an outpouring, but it certainly wasn't as regular of a habit. And over time, we felt like more and more doors were opening for us to be able to play music, which again started in a place where it's not like people were just like, oh my gosh, they're amazing, we have to let them come. Like, we got better because people let us come play. Like, we didn't start with any type of like supernatural talent or ability or anything like that. Not that we even have that now, really, but through people allowing us to do that, we started to gradually kind of step more away from our other jobs towards this. And that, you know, at some point we finally kind of had to take a big leap and leave those jobs, and we did that in stages. And it was very scary, very hard for me, and I know it was hard for you too. But even in it being scary and hard and undefined, of like, we're leaving behind these like comfortable, understandable jobs for something that is so often undefined and unpredictable. And it has been hard, and probably harder than we knew it would be. It's been harder than we imagined it would be, but it's also never felt like the wrong thing. As hard as it's gotten, even in this season of quarantine, it's like, all right, we feel like the next right thing is to move to Nashville. And we did that in time for the tornado and to be shut at home. And it's different than we expected it would look, but that doesn't mean that it's wrong, and that doesn't mean that it's bad. So yeah, that's kind of a bunch of our journey in a nutshell. Other things that I'm glossing over?
No, you're just giving the full picture.
Okay, more detail than
I would have. But that's the story of our lives.
That is the story of our lives. I give all the details, and Chris will give the succinct version. So anyway, yeah, so that's kind of us. Also, exciting things.
Oh yeah.
We had somebody reach out to us today who has had us to play shows before. And he said, hey, you know, I know you guys aren't on the road right now, but I really want to support you. So I'm going to buy 5 t-shirts from our merch, because that's something else that we do as a band. We sell merchandise and things. And he said, I'm going to buy 5 and you can give them away during the show. Yay! So we have our shirts, and here's what they look like. So we have a black t-shirt. Ta-da! It says Wild Harbors. Chris designs all of our merch. He's awesome with the whole visual art thing. And we also have a pink tank that's like the loose fitting kind of like muscle tank type thing. It says Raise a Monument, which are the lyrics from that first song that we played, Monument. So we have 5 of them to give away to you. And we're going to do that by, if you follow us on Spotify, and this would be for like new people who haven't yet. So you have 2 options. You can follow us on Spotify and save our music on Spotify, or you can follow us on Instagram. And you can take a screenshot of either of those. So if you're on your phone, like just screenshot it, or if you're on a computer, screenshot it and send it. You can send it in a Facebook message to our Facebook fan page, which is just Wild Harbors, facebook.com/Wild Harbors. So if you send that over, you can also send it on Instagram. Like if you're there following us, that might be more logical for you. But send those there, and we won't watch it during the thing. No. Like I won't sit here and stare at my phone. So we'll do like a random selection thing. And so 5 of you who either follow us on Spotify or follow us on Instagram and send us the screenshot, then you can be entered to win a free t-shirt. Yeah. If you already follow us on those places, thank you. Thank you. And you're awesome. And we will have other ways of thanking you other than free t-shirts, but maybe free t-shirts at another point in time. So, yay. All right. Well, all that talking aside, we will play you another song. So, Chris and I are married. We did say that, yeah. Like, we got married at some point.
Sometimes we forget to start the show that way. And then we get to the end of the show, and we get, like, that one really confused person, like, so, you guys, it's like, oh, yeah, we're married. I should have said that.
That's how we know each other. So, we write songs, and we both wrote songs, like, separately before we wrote songs together. So sometimes when we write songs together, the fact that we're married comes up, and this is one of them. Yeah. It's called We're Getting Better.
love the way you call me, baby, right before you let me know. The kitchen is a mess, and I'm the one who let it go. It used to get under your skin. Now you take a breath before you begin, and we're getting better every day. We're taking the hard times, using them to create something that's better every day. Please be patient, you're gonna have to show me some grace. I'm bound to lose track and take a look at all of the ways. We're getting better every day. We're taking the hard times, using them to create something that's better. It's gonna get better. It keeps getting better every day. Nice.
Oh, yay. So let's get to some questions from you all. Let's see. Let's see. Dorothy, do you want to, I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember what we said. Do you want to read us a question? Do you want me to come over to the screen and read them? What works?
Pop in, let us know what will work best. Or let
Or
us know.
Amber, or
Nobody has any
whoever.
questions.
I can ask the questions for you guys. This is Joelle.
Hey,
Hi,
Joelle.
Joelle.
Thank you.
Hi. So you have a question here from Christy. What is one silver lining you both have discovered since being quarantined?
Oh man, you first.
Okay, that's a great question, Christy. One silver lining for me has been the most obvious to me is the fact that we had just moved into a new house and we are homeowners for the first time. We've never done that before. Every time something's gone wrong, we've been able to call our landlord, and we can't do that anymore. So the fact that it has happened during a quarantine has kind of given us the freedom and space to be able to do work on the house. We've been renovating stuff in the basement to make it a rentable space and also make it a space that can bless other people. And so my dad came down for a little bit before things got pretty dicey and helped us with that. And we've been able to keep going. So I think if we were still on the road, that would be a lot to handle all at the same time. So that has been an unexpected gift for sure. How about you?
I'd say I've really found a lot of joy in having the space freed up to be more single-minded about some things that, as a musician, you're always in 100 places kind of. You're the songwriter and you're the performer and you're the booking agent and you're the social media and you're all these things at once.
For an independent musician, which we are, we don't have a label or anything like that.
Yeah, until we start paying some people to do some of this stuff.
Yes.
But for us, we do a lot of that ourselves. Good differentiation. So it's been a little nice to have kind of just the space to be like, all right, with a lot of stuff that we would normally have to focus on just being a non-option, focusing on things like, I'm going to cook dinner tonight. That's going to be I really enjoy that. Having the space to give stuff attention that you would never give that much attention to has been really nice. Whether it's something like making coffee in the morning or cooking, or even just having space to write in a way that's not crowded out by everything else that you have to do. So I kind of like how much space each thing in the day can get.
That's been really nice.
Yeah.
Hey, Great question. Is there another
Okay,
one?
well, thank you for that. You have another question here from Mallory. What's the toughest part about being either a full-time or a part-time musician when you have to share your music differently right now? What do you miss the most or look forward to doing again the most?
Ooh,
Oh, man.
wow. There's a lot there, and I could talk for like hours.
Mhm.
I will not. I will spare you that. Gosh, I think I'll just go with the last part of that.
Hardest, or what do you miss them?
I think like, what do I miss the
Yeah.
most? I mean, what I miss the most is probably what a lot of people miss, and it's being with people. Yeah, when we set out to make music, and we were having a lot of conversations of, well, is it worth leaving our other jobs to do this? I was really struggling with why we would do that. Of like, I love to sing, but there are plenty of people who also sing. So like, why why would, like, do people really need one more person in front of a microphone? But realizing that we love being around people, we love encouraging people, and playing music is a way to do that. And we love specifically encouraging people, like not just in general, but also kind of, hey, through us stumbling into music and starting to press towards it and giving up things that would be a lot easier to pursue this thing that we deep down love and have like loved to do since we were little kids. We really believe that other people have that in their life as well, that there are things that everybody was born to love to do. And that may or may not mean that those things should be their full-time jobs, but we're supposed to do them. And we're not supposed to just grow up and get busy with other obligations and things and just put them on the back burner of like, well, maybe someday I'll do that again, or I have to pay bills. So yeah, we're supposed to do the things that we love. And so the context of that, like being able to share those moments in intimate spaces with people when we play shows, is for sure what I miss, of being able to be out with people.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. There's a human interaction element to music that you can't even get through this. Like what I'm really doing is looking at my computer, talking to a screen. Yeah. I know there are people on the other side, but my brain and my heart don't always believe that until I actually see people. And I think that's where so much of music happens, is getting to understand the way that something has impacted somebody. When you're at a show and you play something, or even when you come up to someone after a show and say like, hey man, that song you played, like that was incredible, like that means so much. And to have it just be one-sided feels like you're really missing half the entire equation. So it feels very, very interesting to wrap your head around right now as a musician, knowing all that. Yeah, I don't know, I really miss people.
Yeah, we miss you all. Yes. Goodness. There's so much more to that question too. Like if we have time later, depending how things go, we'll come back to some of those other aspects.
Not that there aren't plenty of hard parts.
Oh boy, because there are lots of them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna share another song. Yeah. And then we'll come back to some more questions.
Let's do it. Got to change my keypad.
Oh, that whole thing. I guess I'll change my patch as well.
Cool. Speaking of times when it's hard to know what to do, this song was inspired actually while I was in the library one day. I was the guy in charge of maintaining our children's nonfiction section, and I would like to say on the record that I normally did a very good job of this. However, sometimes I would find a particularly interesting book, and sometimes notice that maybe 10 minutes has gone by, and I'm supposed to be deciding whether we're keeping this book or getting rid of it, and I'm just absorbed. So they maybe picked the wrong section for me. They should have put me like in first chapter. I don't know. But I picked up one day about the Titanic, which is very interesting to me. I didn't know a lot about it growing up because when this movie came out, I'm sure you've heard of it, it was a bit of a thing. And I was somewhat of a rebellious teenager and said, that's a dumb movie. That's for girls. I'm not watching that movie. And for a long time, I did very good at that until we got married and we had no Wi-Fi and no DVD player. Like, I think all we had was no cable. Like, all we had was like a TV with a VHS slot in it, like built into the TV. And we had 2 VHS tapes in the apartment and one was Disney's First Kid, and one was Titanic.
Which really means we had 3 because Titanic could not be contained
Right.
on just one VHS cassette. It was a twofer.
Too big.
Yep.
So Jenna was like, no, you're watching Titanic.
Yeah, what
said,
else
"Okay,
were we gonna do?
Fine. So we watched it. And if you've watched the movie, or maybe if you just know the story, you'll know that at some point during all of this, while the ship is sinking, it says that the band on the ship continued to play music while the ship was sinking into the ocean. And I was always so struck by that story. And that's what got me lost as I'm reading this book. And I'm finding this little section about them, just thinking like, man, who was the first musician on that boat to be like, hey guys, I know the boat's sinking, but time for a song right now. Should we do it? Because that's just not my reaction ever. Like, I would just be that guy sitting there like, I don't really see what difference this is gonna make. I got my fiddle, but it's not gonna stop the boat from going into the ocean. And music is one of those weird things where it can be so hard as you're putting it out there to be like, what difference is this really gonna make? But in that scenario, the music they played kept people calm, and it kept people from panicking, and it made it so that women and children could make it to lifeboats and escape, which I think is just incredible, like music that literally saves people's lives. Yeah. So I'm always just very humbled thinking about them, and then thinking about the little meager thing that I do as I strum my guitar and I sing my words and I go, I don't know what difference this is gonna make. And sometimes it's good for me to remember that it may not be that it doesn't make a difference. It just may be that I will not be there to see it. So this is a song kind of about that. It's called The Ballad of Wallace and Jessie. Ship on the ocean was miles from the shore. They heard a great crash like an out of tune chord. The crew exchanged glances beneath the big April moon. The ship was going down and there was nothing they could do. The ship was going down and there was nothing they could do. Before any panic had a chance to set in, the man raised his bow and his old violin. He summoned up his courage, he summoned up the band to hold fast till the end like a soldier's last stand. To hold fast till the end like a soldier's last stand. People rushed on by, still the band stood the ground. They lay loose in the air, a most beautiful sound. A song to raise your spirits and keep away your fear. A song that you could walk upon the water when you hear. Oh, a song that you could walk upon the water when you hear. The symphony, it swelled and none there could forget how the melody was bound to their sorrow and regret. He poured himself out across cold northern black, and he gave them a gift they could not give him back. He gave them a gift they could not give him back. cottage in Scotland, beneath the same moon, Jessie woke from a dream of a ship and her crew. She cried, "Can't you hear the song on the waves?" And with one final breath, Jessie drifted away.
Yay, thank you all. Thanks for hanging out with us. Yeah, if you're just tuning in, we're Wild Harbors. Thanks to the library for
Yes.
having this little concert and Q&A session. It's really fun to get to interact with y'all. Do we have more questions?
Got a little spot.
We do, Jenna and Chris. We have a question from Dave Wentz, all the way from Salem, Oregon. He
Wow.
says, "Hey guys, I've been following you for a while now. Big fan. What time of day is best for songwriting for you guys?"
Oh, that's a great question.
Oh, it is a good one.
I think I'm glad he put in the qualifier for you guys, because it's really for everybody. It's your own thing. For me personally, I've gone kind of all over the place. Originally, when I started writing songs, I would almost exclusively write songs at night. And it wasn't until maybe 4 years of doing this that I listen to all of the songs I write and I go, it kind of sounds like these were all written at night. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I can just listen to it and be like, there's just a different approach to it. And so what I really enjoy now is anything that creative I have to do as I'm scheduling out my day, I try to do it before noon if I can, because I find that that's the time that my brain is most excited to be awake. You know, when you're just waking up, everything's brand new. Nothing has disappointed you yet, except maybe your alarm going off. But, you know, you haven't clogged up all of the highways in your brain with Instagram and with Facebook or whatever I do, and it just clouds everything up. So I like waking up and having sort of a clear sky and just saying, well, I'm just going to get a cup of coffee and I'm going to write in a notebook for 15 minutes no matter what happens and just see what's there. And it's just a nice way to start and sort of wake myself up. And so, yeah, I really enjoy that. It doesn't always lead to anything, but I find that a lot of the stuff that ends up turning into something usually happens now from those sessions.
Yeah, I'm kind of similar. My natural inclination is to write at nighttime and always to be very emotionally moved by it, which is great. And sometimes I get great things, but then I often just wind up with a whole bunch of really sad songs. So I have been Chris has been just a really great example in that of like, okay, no, let's start the day with writing, and not always together. Like we're often writing separately, but trying to get that going, whether I feel like it or not. And I'm still fighting that battle a lot and learning how to be more disciplined with it. But I also just really like writing songs in my car. Like if I have a long drive, I'd like to be able to just like turn on a sound recorder and sing and come up with stuff. Like that really helps me. 90%
of the stuff on my phone recorder is from driving or walking. I was reading somewhere, it's sort of like the science behind like creativity flourishes when your brain is just bored enough that it starts trying to entertain itself. Like when you're doing one of these semi-autonomous tasks like walking, like you don't need to think about how to walk. Or when you're driving, you're like, you've driven this drive 100 times, you kind of just start zoning out. It's a great time for your brain to be like, well, I know that's going on for the next 15 minutes. What else can I think of? So yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Okay, Luke is wondering if you can describe your songwriting process. Do the lyrics come first or the melody?
We're both kind of different with that.
Yeah.
Typically for me, I kind of come up with lyrics and melody simultaneously, which when they work well is great. It makes it harder to edit sometimes later. But that's my natural inclination, is just to kind of sit and like make them up at the same time and go with that. But I've been trying to branch out from that. But that's me. Yeah.
I write lyrics independently in a book. I would say 99% of those lyrics don't end up in songs. They're just an exercise for me to have a brain that writes. You know what I mean? But when I am writing and doing this kind of thing, often the melody and the music happen simultaneously with words and noises that don't amount to anything, but are kind of just there as like a placeholder until I can maybe find some words I've already written and put them into it. So I stay very loose with anything. Like, it might just be like, la da da, summer about ice cream, and then I'll say, oh, well, I kind of like the melody. Let me take everything out and just, you know, use it kind of as wet clay to say what was going on there. Do any of these words I've written down fit into that? So it's kind of always very back and forth in that regard.
Yeah. Good question.
Yeah.
Yay. We can share another song with y'all.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
And then we'll take a few more questions and then we'll close with the song.
Yeah.
Also, if you tuned in, remember that we have a giveaway thanks to the generosity of one of our listeners and fans who bought t-shirts to give away to y'all, which is just so nice. So follow us on Spotify or save our music there and send us a screenshot, or follow us on Instagram and send us a screenshot. Either through our Instagram page or through our Facebook page, and you will be one of the 5 recipients of a shirt. Which, just a caveat for that, getting that, we got that email today, and there have just been so many instances of people supporting us in ways that we didn't even think to ask for, and we're just blown away all the time at people's generosity. And those are the kinds of things that remind me, at least, like, okay, we can keep going. We can keep doing this. Like, people care and it matters.
Yeah.
And just if you know any creative person in your life, check out what they're doing and look into ways to support them. Because this is a hard time for a lot of creative people whose work depends on interacting with other people, whether it's a musician, an actor. See if they have music online that you can purchase or stream online. See if they have merchandise for sale that you can get. If they have any kind of online tip jar to give to them. Just, it has meant the world to us that people have done that for us, and that is making us a little less nervous about the fact that we have a mortgage and things. So just whatever you can do, and I mean that goes beyond creative fields too, but just take care of people. Because it will mean, even if it's just a small little gesture, it's going to mean so much to them. So this song is hopefully a song of encouragement to y'all in this really unexpected time where it's hard to know how to move forward. It's called Water. 1, 2, 3.
Charted out a course, you knew the waves were rolling, but didn't know their force. You were told a storm was coming when you first set out. Maybe love showed you how to sail between the clouds. All the water in the ocean can't drown you unseen. So don't you try to sink or swim. Breathe hard, don't let the water in. Or don't you begin. Push against the current, or let it lead you home. Explain away the weak parts, proceed to make them whole. You can't let suffering find you just the same. If you try
ocean can drown you unless you let it in. Don't you let it in. If the choice is sink or swim, breathe hard, don't let the water in. Don't you let it in. All the water in the ocean can drown you unless you let it in. So don't you let it in. If the choice is sink or swim, breathe hard, don't let the water in. Don't you let it in. Don't let the water in. No, don't let it get in. Don't let the water in. No, don't you let it in.
Yay! Oh, friends,
This has been a lot of fun.
This is so fun. Oh, we already have a message from somebody
nice.
with a screenshot, hoping to win a T-shirt. Oh, it's Diana.
Oh,
Hi,
cool.
Diana. Yay! I love that. It's always fun when it's people we know, and
Yeah.
it's also fun when it's people that we don't know that we get to meet for the first time. What other questions can we handle for y'all in our time that we have left?
Yeah, we'll do what we can, and then we'll do one more to close it out.
Yes.
So let's
And
say-
if
All
we-
right.
Sorry, go ahead.
First of all, Chris and Jenna, I just wanted to tell you, you have lots and lots of comments and greetings and well wishes from fellow Carroll County Public Library employees wishing you well and talking about how much they miss you all.
We missed
And-
you guys too.
They're very missed.
We also have a question here from Mark asking if you missed the applause.
When it came, yes. We won't ever assume, but it's not about like I think Chris kind of alluded to it earlier. It's not so much like we miss applause for like, well, we need to know that we did okay and that people liked it, but just that interaction back and forth. Like we make songs because we love people, you know,
Yeah.
and we love interacting with people when we play music.
I'm miss the applause because I miss applauding. Like
Oh, that's good.
I miss being in that room with everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, you're so right. Like I miss being able to applaud for other people, like going to see music just as much, if not more, than I miss being able to like be the one playing the show.
Yeah.
Like I just miss sharing music with people. So yeah.
Yeah. So
Good question.
All right, you have a question here from Emma, age 6. She wants to know how old you were when you started to sing.
oh man, that's probably yours.
Oh, when I started to sing, younger than you, Emma. Like just sing just for fun, not any kind of serious lessons or anything. I mean, probably 3 or 4, just singing away.
I'd say you were probably just singing your generation's version of Moana, which is The Little Mermaid.
Oh, yeah, absolutely singing Little Mermaid over and over again. And yeah, I started to do singing groups at school and things, and yeah, just tried to sing wherever I could, and not because I felt like, okay, well, this is going to be my job, so I have to do it. I just loved singing, so I just did it wherever and whenever I could. How old were you when you started singing?
I don't know. I've never really thought about it.
Yeah.
I remember being just like, I never thought of myself as like, I'm a kid who's a singer, because I didn't ever join choirs or anything like that. But I would just sing random stuff that came into my mind, like random silly little songs and jingles.
Yeah.
I would just make them up. But I never like saw it as like, well, I'm like a singer kid, you know?
Yeah. And that's kind of the beauty of it, that, you know, we meet people all the time who are like, well, I can't sing. I actually think you can, because anybody can do it. Clearly people are better at it than others, but like it's something that anybody can do. And I just love that about singing.
Yeah.
Is there another question that we can handle?
Okay, how about this one from Mickey? Will you ever write a song about Dachshunds? A big fan of yours wants to know. Happy soon-to-be birthday, Jenna.
Thank you! Yay, birthday!
This Mickey character seems to know a lot about us. A song about dachshunds. Yes, I will.
Right now.
Right now. If there's one kind of dog I really love, if there's one kind of dog I really love, if there's one kind of dog that I really truly love, it's a dachshund, my friend. If there's one dog that has a really annoying bark, you can see where that one's gonna go. So yeah, I'll work on that. You can see words. You know, we get the idea.
Thank you for the song idea. Copyright 2020.
Patent pending.
Wild Harbors. Oh my goodness. Well, if we didn't get to your question, we're going to look at all the comments and all the questions at the end, and we would love to answer it for you on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram. We're both of those places. You can always email us too. Our website is wildharbors.com, and you can always send us a message. We'd love to handle your questions.
Yeah.
Yes, this has been so much fun. Thank you, Carroll County Public Library, for making this show happen.
And thank you, Carroll County Public Librarians, for watching.
Yay!
Whoever you are.
Watching, and for all the librarians who are helping to make this show happen, because it would be a circus if we were trying to do this all by ourselves.
Yeah.
So the fact that Joelle is monitoring comments and Dorothy made sure it all
Yeah.
started off, and Amber's in the background on tech, like,
thank you guys so
all of
much.
you.
Makes it so much easier.
Yeah. So we're just going to leave you with this song tomorrow morning. If you haven't yet, send me a screenshot of you following us on Spotify or Instagram for like a new person to be entered to win t-shirts, because they're fun. And we would just love to keep up with you all. So thanks for tuning in. There's also a link to our email list. We send out emails like once a month or so, just to let you know what we're working on. And we'd love to have you along on that journey. So this song is a song of hope and encouragement and determination to finally get up and do the thing that maybe we've always wanted to do deep down, but we were afraid to do. So it's called Tomorrow Morning.
I've been dreaming of the day, like a chance to leave this all behind. And I won't bow to all the doubts, so keep me tossing in the sick of mind. I say I'm aching for adventure. When adventure comes to call, I slam the door and just ignore it, so I don't hesitate to show sad love. But this time tomorrow morning, oh, this time it's gonna change. And this time tomorrow morning, oh, I won't be the same. I've been watching on a wide screen, fearless hero saving lives. What could I give? How would I live if I lived today to go save a life? But this time tomorrow morning, oh, this time it's gonna change. And this time tomorrow morning, oh, I won't be the same. And this time tomorrow morning, oh, this time it's gonna change. It's gonna change. And this time tomorrow morning, oh, I won't be the same. Stop me if you've heard this one before. We long for so much more than what we know. We can make a chase to leave the shore, or make believe we did not want to go. tomorrow morning. Oh, I won't be the same. Oh, I won't be the same. Oh, I won't be the same.
Thank you guys so much.
Thanks for being here, everybody. We'll let our library folks close it out.
Thank you so much, Jenna and Chris. It's an incredible concert. And I'd like to give some special thanks to our live coverage partner, the Community Media Center, and of course our Arts Council partner. And but special thanks to Wild Harbors, and really enjoyed spending the evening with you. Thanks, everybody.